Yogis. Hi, I'm Angie with Harmony Yoga, and we are going to be opening up and releasing the hips today. So a really nice fluid practice, and I cannot emphasize enough that less is more. It's a relatively easy practice. It flows really smoothly, but you definitely feel the results the next day. So even though this is seemingly easy, less is more. So just work with your body, breathe through it, and know that you want to be walking after class. So let's go ahead and begin our practice. And we'll actually just go ahead and begin our practice just in an easy Sukhasana seated posture. Now, if seated posture doesn't work for you, you can certainly come into any other posture. So remember, it is all about you, your practice, your body. Find your own fluency and come into that space that feels good. So for those of you in seated posture, if you are in Sukhasana, crossing at the ankles and tucking the feet gently underneath the thighs, take a few moments here. You can roll forward and back, side to side. Just kind of get that feeling of beginning to become rooted to the earth. If you need to add a little height underneath the sit bones, and if your knees are up high, this is a signal to your body to come up on some more height. What this does is helps to raise the sit bones and create the natural curve in the spine, which is a lot more conducive for seated. So once you've found the things that you need, today's practice, maybe needing a block on each end of your mat or a small pillow or something to support the head and neck. So it's a side-to-side motion and relatively few props today. Just be present and be ready to feel amazing. So once you come back into your seated posture, elbows underneath the shoulders, palms can be facing up or down. So I want you to find that placement that feels right for you. If you want to take a hand mudra, you can certainly begin to come into that space. I'm taking a root lock with my hands, so coming into a rooted seated posture. In time, begin to allow the eyes to soften and close, and as you do this, begin to close off outside distractions. Draw your awareness inward. As we draw our awareness inward, begin to focus on the content and the quality of the breath. So taking a few rounds of breath here, just observing how your breath is flowing, and in time, allowing the breath to slow and deepen. Let it move deeper into the base of the lungs, and as you breathe, begin to expand the lungs from side to side, front to back, top to bottom, drawing the breath upward through the spine, creating length on the inhale. Maintain the length of the spine, and audibly or silently release the breath, let it go. We're going to move through a couple more rounds of this deeper belly breathing, following the ebb and flow of breath as it moves through the spine. And then your next breath, begin to bring palm to palm compression at heart space. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, now is an opportunity to do this. And an intention is anything meaningful to you that carries you through your practice. Allows your mind to stay focused, gives you strength, determination, will, sensitivity, compassion, whatever that might be. We'll take one more breath at heart space, striking the power and the positivity of your intention. And as you release the breath, sharing that positive vibrations with the world. Next inhale brings the chin back to center. Slowly take a soft gaze to your eyes. Inhale the hands up through the midline. And as you exhale, celebrate the beginning of a beautiful practice. Two more. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Last one here. Inhale and exhale. Release the hands behind the body. Draw the palms together. Draw the shoulder blades together. Straighten through the arms. Inhale, bring your gaze up. And as you exhale, come forward in a forward fold. Inhale brings us back to center. Begin to draw the clasped hands over to the left hip. Bring it right back to center, and as you exhale, bring it to the right. Shoulder blades are rolling back and down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, drawing to center. Exhale, release. Inhale brings us back to center, right back over to the left hip. Shoulders are rolling back and down. Inhale brings us back to center. As you exhale, bring it over to the right hip. And release. Hands move up overhead. And as you exhale, right down through the midline, hands move to the knees, drawing the knees up. And if you are in height, you can go ahead and come up on that height. We're going to go ahead and begin to come down onto our mat. Bringing the arms out in front, palms face each other. Strong inhale. And as you exhale, mindfully roll down on the spine. One vertebra at a time. Arms move up overhead. We take a nice full body stretch. Sitting out with the fingers and the toes, creating lots and lots of space. And as you exhale, begin to draw the knees into the body. Rock and roll from side to side or front to back, whatever feels good to you. Keep the right knee drawn into the body. Go ahead and extend long with the left leg. Now, if you have any low back pain, bend that left knee to protect your low back. Interlace the hands either on top of the knee or behind the knee as we come into wind relieving posture. You can go ahead and make some rotations in both directions, both clockwise and counterclockwise. And move into flexion, drawing the toes toward the body and away. As you inhale, keep drawing the right knee closer to the right shoulder on the outside edge of the right rib cage. And as you exhale, find that depth. We'll take one more breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, walk that leg up. Walk your hands up the back line of the leg. And as you release, full body stretch. Nice full body stretch, extending the fingers and the toes far away from each other. And as you exhale, we'll draw the left knee into the body, interlacing the hands either on top of the knee or behind the knee. And we begin to move into some rotations, both clockwise and counterclockwise. And coming into flexion. And release. One more big breath here. And as you exhale, extend that leg long. Walk your hands up the back line of the leg. And begin to release arm and leg full body stretch. This time we'll begin to roll onto our side bodies. And you go ahead and grab that block. We'll place the block right underneath the head and neck. And as we come into the space, we have hips are stacked, knees are stacked, feet are stacked. And then we'll begin to bring the legs into a 90-degree bend. And again, we still have that hip, knee, and feet alignment. And then once you have that, take a moment here, make sure you're comfy. We're going to begin to come right into the hip series. So as we come into the hip series, we're going to be going into a class count of 10. Now, if 10 is not your number, it might be more or less, I want you to come into the practice that's best for you right now. You can place your hand either in front of the body or on the hips for grounding and stabilizing. So as you flow through this practice, we're not moving the hips from side to side. We're creating some motion in the hip joint, but we're keeping the pelvis very stable. So as we begin, we're going to begin to keep the feet together. As you inhale, the knee begins to rise, and as you exhale, releases down, going to a class count of 10. Now you may observe here that the knee does not have to go very high. So in order to keep that pelvis nice and stable, the knee is not going to come very high. So it's very, very small somatic movements. And because we are working with a range of motion in your body, your motion is going to be a little bit different than mine. So I want you to really focus on really keeping the body nice and stable. So really isolating the motion right into that hip joint. We've got about 3 more here. Last 2. And last 1. We bring it right back to center. This time we keep the knees together. Top foot is flexed to protect the knee. As you inhale, the foot begins to rise. And as you exhale, releases down. Again, we're going through a class count of 10, but you may want to do more or less depending on your range of motion and what your body's working with today. And as you continue to move this series, really see if you can allow the breath and the body to move smoothly together. So really trying to synchronize breath and body. As we continue on, we'll inhale, the knee moves to, a little bit higher than hip height, and as you exhale, releases down. So a little bit higher than hip height, and we're keeping that top leg right in that 90-degree bend. Foot is still flexed, so we're not raising the knee. Imagine the entire leg working as an entire unit. So really working with the integrity of that top hip. 8, 9, and 10. We bring it right back down to center. And then from here, we're going to continue on with this series. We're going to inhale, the knee moves to about hip height. As you inhale, draw the knee toward the chin, and as you exhale, extend long, press out through the heel. Again, we're going to a count of 10. Keep that nice fluid motion going. Last 2, and last 1 here. Really extend it out and release it down. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and remove that block. We're going to extend nice and long with the body. We're going to bend the elbow to support the head and neck. We're going to move into Anantasana. Find your 2 peace fingers, bend through the top knee and reach for the big toe. Stay here or begin to extend out with that top leg. So you can come into some motion here, or bends and straights, or if you're really wanting to find that deep opening in the body, you can begin to extend that leg out, using your breath with your body. Inhale, creating space. Exhale, creating depth. Inhale, space. Exhale, depth. And you can keep moving into this practice until you reach your maximum, whatever that is. So if you're really wanting to open up the body, just keep working with your body and know that it is all about your practice. Wherever you go is where you need to be today. Last 3, last 2, and last breath. We go ahead and bring it right back down to center and release. And we're going to move through just a couple of Pilates inspired movements here. So go ahead and place the top hand in front of your body to ground and stabilize. You'll point the top toe. Inhale, draw that leg up. Flex through the heel, drag it back down. Inhale, draws up. Exhale, releases down. And we'll go again to a class count of 10. Again, finding the number that works best for you. Last 2. And last 1 here, and release. And then we'll go ahead and bend the top knee, reach for the ankle, and place the sole of the foot in front of the body. You'll extend out to the bottom leg, point the toe, and then keep directing until the leg lifts slightly off the ground, about 4 inches or so, 2 to 3 inches. And then we'll begin to make some rotations. Now, not with just the ankle, you're moving the entire leg. So the entire leg has motion here, going both clockwise and counterclockwise, 10 rotations. And then once you've done that, going the reverse, so going clockwise for me now. Last 2 and last 1, and we'll pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Go ahead and roll onto the belly. We're going to extend nice and long on the body once again. So reaching the fingers and the toes apart, creating space underneath the armpits. Spine is lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. One more big breath here. And as you exhale, bend the elbows and then place the thumbs at the top of the ribs. Allow the shoulder blades to roll back and down, elbows over the wrists. Keep walking the feet away from the body. Press the top of the feet into your mat. Contract your quadricep muscles, engaging those muscles. And then inhale, begin to lengthen long. So coming into Bhujangasana Cobra. Now we're just beginning to warm up through the spine. So again, just taking your practice where you need to. Give your head a little shake and release the muscles of the head, neck, and shoulder. So we're just beginning to bring spinal mobility and strengthening into the core and spine. And release it down. Take a pause here. You can bend the knees and create a little bit of movement. We're going to come into a second set in just a moment. And release. Go ahead and extend those legs long, top of the feet pressing into the mat. Contract your quadricep muscles, and again, when you're ready, begin to inhale, lengthen long. And maybe you feel that you want to stay in that nice low space, or maybe you feel you have a little bit more range of motion. You can begin to create more opening in your body if you need to. So I'm coming up into a little deeper variation, but I want you to come into the space that feels best for you. So maybe it's in that lower range. So again, wherever you are is where you need to be. Last 3, last 2, and last breath. We release it all the way down. Bend the knees and press yourself up into table. As we come into table position, we're going to create a little bit more movement with the spine. So coming into table, wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees about hip distance apart, directly underneath the hips. We're going to breathe into the lower abdominals, sending the breath all the way up through the spine. Hollow out the belly, gaze between the hands, and then inhale, direct the chest through the gate of the shoulders. So moving through a few rounds of cat and cow. Just allowing your spine to articulate with your breath. Let's go ahead and move through about 3 more rounds here. And last one here. And release. Good. We'll go ahead and bring big toes together. Knees can be close together, wide apart, or somewhere in the middle. We're going to walk ourselves down into our first child's pose. Hips released toward the heels. We'll start with an active child's pose. We've got 5 rounds of breath. And if there's any other placement you like for your hands or your arms, you can certainly move into a different placement by placing the hands in curve position behind the back of the head.
You can stack the hands and rest the forehead on the stacked arms or hands. You can even surrender your arms to your side body. So I want you to find that space that feels best for you right now. Last 3, last 2, and last breath. We bring it right back to center. Walk yourself forward facing me, and then we're going to come into a kneeling position. So as you come into a kneeling position, take a moment here. Allow the shoulders to roll back and down once again. Release the arms to the side bodies. Palms rotate outward. Heart space shines. Inhale, draw the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, release the hands behind the body. Draw the palms together. Draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale, bring your gaze up. And as you exhale, come forward, forward fold. Inhale brings us back to center. Release. Hands move up overhead. Once again, coming behind the body. Changing the ways of your palms. Drawing your palms together. Shoulder blades draw together. Inhale, bring your gaze up. And as you exhale, come forward, forward fold. Inhale brings us back to center. Mindfully release. Hands draw up overhead. Exhale, release right back down to heart space. And we begin to bring it down into the other side. So when you're ready, coming into a seated position, arms come out in front, palms face each other, and mindfully roll down one vertebra at a time. Come all the way down to the mat. Bring the arms up overhead. Extend nice and long between the fingers and the toes. Take one more breath here, and as you exhale, draw the knees into the body. Hug them in tight, rock from side to side or front to back, whatever feels really good. We're going to keep the grip of the left knee this time. We're going to extend long with the right leg. And switch, and switch, and switch. Keep it going. Breathe. Speed it up if you want to, drawing the knee on the outside edge of the rib cage as you move from side to side. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Extend it out. Draw both knees in, and then draw your legs up overhead, coming into a variation of the pretty Karani, and then mindfully begin to release it down. Arms and legs come down together. Flex through the feet, feel your core activate, and mindfully coming all the way down. Stretch it long and strong, release out. We'll roll onto our side this time, and we'll begin to grab that block or soft pillow. We support the head and neck on the other side. As we come into this space, again, hips are stacked, knees are stacked, feet are stacked. And then once you have that balance, we'll go ahead and bend through the knees, bringing the knees into a 90-degree bend. And find that space to be able to hold comfortably. We're going to come into that same hip series on the other side when you're ready. So as we come into this series, we start with the feet together. As you inhale, the knee begins to rise, and as you exhale, releases down. So we're going to about a count of 10, but you want that hip very grounded, very stable. So you can take a peek down to see if it's moving with the motion. If it is, try to stabilize that as best as you can. One of the many things I really like about this series is the amount of fluidity it brings into the lower region. It's great for definition. So if you're looking to create more muscles in the glutes, trim up the inner and the outer thighs, and work on the core, it's fantastic. If you're looking just for more of health aspects of it, beautiful, beautiful work at bringing that blood flow and circulation into the pelvic region, really creating an openness in that area. So a beautiful practice if you're looking for definition or health reasons, so you get the benefits of both. And we're probably about there now. We'll go ahead and leave the knees together, flex the top foot to protect your knee, and we'll inhale, drawing that leg up, exhale, releases down. Again, going to a class count of 10. If 10 is not your number, it might be more or less. And breathe. So we're really synchronizing breath and body together. So keeping that breath flowing. And you can move through this practice at any pace. The most important thing is to keep the cadence of breath and body. So really keeping that smooth movement of breath and body. We're probably about there. Last 2. And last 1. We bring it right back to center. And as we continue on, this time, keeping the integrity of the top leg so it stays in that 90-degree bend. Trying to keep it nice and straight, good. And we're going to count of 10 once again.
8, 9, and 10. And release. And we'll continue on as we come into our next set. Now, as you move through this practice, if for any reason you start to feel any tightness or your areas, working areas that haven't necessarily had a lot of movement for a while, you can make a fist and tap out those muscles and kind of massage it out. So this kind of helps to loosen up that fascia. The fascia is the tissue that supports the muscles, so kind of breaking that up so you can create a little better blood flow and circulation. As we continue on, we inhale, the knee rises to about hip height. Keep drawing the knee toward the chin, keep the spine neutral, and as you exhale, extend it nice and long through the heel. Again, we're going to about a count of 10, but you can go through more or less depending on what your body needs are today. Last 2, and last 1, and release it down. And then from here, we'll go ahead and remove that solid block, extend nice and long on the side bodies, and then begin to bend the elbow to support the head and neck. Again, hips are stacked, knees are stacked, feet are stacked. We're going to find our 2-piece fingers. We're going to bend the top knee and reach for the big toe. Once you're here, you can begin to extend long with the leg. Now, if it feels good, you can begin to bend it straight if that feels better. Or if you want to just begin to bring this into a nice deeper variation, you can just begin to find your expression here. As you inhale, creating space. As you exhale, creating depth. So you can continue to breathe into the body until you meet your body where it is. Pause there, observe, and if you have a little bit more, breathe into it and see where you go. So a couple rounds of breath here, just finding where your body is today. Last 3. Last 2, and last breath. We're bringing it right back down. We're going to stay with those legs extended out. We're going to come into a little Pilates-inspired movement here. Hand can rest right in front of the body for balance and support. We're going to point that top toe, extend that leg long, flex through the heel, and drag it back down. Inhale, draws up, flex through the heel, drag it back down. So again, going to a class count of 10. Might be more, might be less. So if you're in your home studio and you feel that you're kind of in sync with your body, you can stay with this practice as long as you need to. And last one here, and release. Good. We're going to bend through the top knee and set the sole of the foot in front of the body. We're going to extend out through that bottom foot. And we're going to begin to make some circles both clockwise and counterclockwise. So you're not doing this just through the ankle. The entire leg moves with it, with the pointed toe. Once you've had 10, go the opposite direction. And then we'll pause for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we release. Go ahead and roll onto the belly, and we'll extend our legs out. Our arms and legs out nice and wide again. So creating space underneath the armpit, lengthen the body nice and long, gazes down. One more big breath here. Listen carefully. We're going to bring this time into Sphinx pose. So when you're ready, reaching the fingers and the toes apart, we're going to slide the arms back toward the body. We're going to allow the elbows to rest underneath the shoulders. So the arms are bent in a 90-degree bend this time, and we're taking the feet about hip distance, maybe a little bit wider. Now this can get into the low back, so if for any reason you start to feel this in your low back, I want you to come back down and extend the body nice and long and see where you are in this practice until you can find that just right spacing. Now, in this pose, you can grab onto opposite elbows. You'll find that by doing that, that puts your arms in the proper alignment, and then release your forearms back down. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, things are spread nice and wide, forearms are extended directly out from the elbows. You're pressing the top of the hands into the mat. Shoulders are rolling back and down. And you're pressing your forearms into the mat to engage the shoulders. So pressing the earth away. Shoulder blades are rolling back and down. And one thing you may notice as you do this, the chest naturally begins to draw through the gate of the shoulders. You'll feel a really strong abdominal stretch. And then you'll begin to feel the awareness of your spine. So again, just allowing your breath to move you deeper into this. Keep pressing your forearms into the mat. Keep drawing the chest through the gate of the shoulders, allowing the shoulder blades to roll back and down, engaging the shoulders, and breathe. So a really, really beautiful abdominal stretch. We've got 3 more rounds of breath here. Last 2. And last breath. Swing your elbows out to the side, stack your hands, bend your knees, and go ahead and windshield wiper from side to side. So we're giving our low back just a little bit of release. We're going to come into a second set here with the option to move into a deeper pose. Go ahead and bring it right back to stillness. We'll release the legs down. Now you can certainly come into Sphinx pose, or if you want to move into a deeper variation, you can come into seal. If you want to come a little bit deeper, go ahead and walk your feet to mat distance apart. We're going to extend those arms out. We're going to reach long between the fingers and the toes. We're going to take one more breath here, and again, we're going to bend those elbows and slide the arms back toward the body. So the elbows, once again, grab onto opposite elbows, and then release your forearms out. Arms are in a 90-degree bend, shoulder blades are rolling back and down, fingers are spread nice and wide. We're pressing the forearms into the mat. And breathe. Again, we're going to come into engaging the shoulders by imagine energetically rolling the shoulders back and down and drawing the chest to the gate of the shoulders. We're pressing the top of the feet firmly into our mat and then just allowing the chest to drop through the gate of the shoulders. Now, once you're here, this might be your maximum today, and that's a perfectly beautiful place to be. If you have just a little bit more to give, you can press the palms of your hands into your mat, begin to straighten out through the arms. So again, this deepens this pose. You don't want to begin to take this into your low back. So if the low back is really talking to you, objecting, then mindfully come back down. So again, we're going to hang out here for just a couple rounds of breath. Keep allowing the shoulders to roll back and down, just really enjoying that beautiful deep abdominal stretch. Feel the strengthening of the spine and the core as they work together. We've got one more breath here. Mindfully release, coming back into Sphinx. Swinging your elbows out to the side, stacking your hands, resting your forehead on your stacked hands, and then bending the knees and windshield wipering from side to side. Go ahead and bring it back to stillness. Keep the knees bent. Bend your elbows, press your palms into the mat. We'll go ahead and bring it into table position. As we come into table position, once again, we're going to begin to move through a few rounds of cat and cow. Just kind of release, starting with neutral spine first, with the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees are about hip distance apart, directly underneath the hips. Breathing into the lower abdominals, hollowing out the belly, gazing between the hands, and then inhale, direct the chest for the gate of the shoulders. So go ahead and move through a few more rounds here. And as you come into some movement, if you're feeling like you want some other movement, you can begin to come into some hip glides. Maybe coming into some C curves from side to side. So just find a little bit of fluid movement here. We've got about 3 to 5 rounds of breath just to find that fluid movement. So whatever or wherever you need to take your practice, just kind of following that ebb and flow. And then finishing up wherever you are, we're going to walk ourselves right back out to center once again. We're going to come into kneeling, and we'll be closing our practice with gate pose. So as we come into gate pose, we're going to begin to bring our hands underneath the chin. We're going to step out with the left leg, and we're going to come back into that kneeling position. We're going to externally rotate through that right hip, placing the heel with the knee alignment. So starting there. And then you can begin to come into some of that flexion once again, drawing the toes toward the body and away. And then find that placement for your foot, either pressing the feet into the earth or flexing through the foot by pressing evenly between the ball and the heel. So either one is fine. I want you to find the placement that feels best for you. Torso is beginning to face forward toward me, and the hips are right in alignment. So really finding that nice alignment there, making sure your hips, yes, good. And then we're going to begin to inhale the arms up overhead. As you exhale, release the left hand down, palm facing upward. Get length in the right side. As you exhale, come over to the left side. Inhale brings us back to center. We'll do that one more time. And then just seeing where your practice takes you. And breathe right back to center. We're going to begin to find our block. We're going to release that foot back down. Outside edge of the foot is parallel with the outside edge of the mat. We're going to reach for the block. Now you may not need the block here. You might be able to come all the way down to the earth. So finding where you are, inhale the arm up overhead, and as you exhale, take a nice counter stretch. Inhale the center, and exhale, release. Nice opening here, expand it. Inhale brings us right back to center. We draw both knees to center and we release down, coming to the second side. Step this time the right leg out, and then we'll inhale, go ahead and come back to center. External rotation with the right hip, and we'll begin to align the heel with the knee. Hips are nice and squared, torso facing forward. Good. Shoulders rolling back and down. Go ahead and move through some flexion, drawing the toes toward the body and away. And then find that placement for your foot that feels right today. Either drawing the sole of the foot down toward the earth or flexing through the ball of the heel. So whichever or wherever you are. Good. And then inhale the arms up overhead. As you exhale, release the right hand down, palm facing outward. Inhale, get lengthened left side body. And as you exhale, bend to the right. Inhale brings us back to center. We'll do that one more time. And release. Inhale brings us right back to center. We'll go ahead and drop that back foot down so the outside edge is parallel with the outside edge of the mat. Release the left hand down, and as you inhale the right arm up and release it alongside the body. Counter stretch for that. Inhale to center, exhale, release. Inhale brings us right back down to center. We inhale the arms up overhead, and as you exhale, release behind the body. Palms draw together, shoulder blades draw together. Inhale, bring your gaze up, and as you exhale, come forward. Inhale to center, last one here. Palms will go up overhead. As you exhale, release. Palm to palms, compression, interlace the hands. Inhale, bring your gaze up. As you exhale, come forward, forward fold. Inhale brings us back to center. Release the hands, and we come into seated. We'll go ahead and begin to come down onto our back, bringing the palms out in front, palms face each other. Inhale, and as you exhale, roll down one vertebra at a time until you come all the way down onto the back. Inhale the arms up overhead, extending long with the fingers and the toes. Nice full body stretch here. And as you release, draw the knees in. Go ahead and rock from side to side and front to back. So really creating a nice release in the low back. We're going to release the feet, mat distance apart. Bring the arms out to the side, cactusing through the arms, and then just begin to windshield wiper from side to side. So moving with integrity, letting the breath and the body flow together. The next time you fall over to the right, I want you to pause here and press out through the top knee, creating some activation in the top right hip. With the left, the center, we fall over to the left side this time, and then drawing out with the right knee, activating the right hip. Inhale brings us back to center. Feet are mat distance apart. Let the knees fall together. Place one hand on the abdomen and one hand on the heart. We're going to come back into that belly breathing, drawing your breath and awareness, allowing the breath to drop deep into the base of the lungs. And as you breathe, expanding the lungs from side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Breathe up to the heart space. Audibly or silently release the breath, let it go. I want you to move through 4 more rounds of this deeper belly breathing. Last 2. And last 1. You can stay here, or you can begin to release your arms to your side bodies, tucking the shoulders gently underneath the body. Walking one leg into the other, allowing the feet to roll out to the side. Allow the eyes to soften and close, and the breath continue to slow and deepen. As you've come to this point in your practice, you have arrived in the most beautiful, perfect place, Shavasana. You can stay here for as long as you need to. And know that you can always return to this place. All you have to do is close the eyes and you'll be there. I'm Angie with Harmony Yoga, and this was your hip series for today. From my heart to yours, yogis. Namaste.